A British ufologist claims he is fighting in a space war for 15-foot aliens against reptilian race. The most sensational claim made by Mr. Kellett is that he has been fighting in an intergalactic war for 15-foot aliens since he was 28 years old, according to Vicky Vermuth of Hows and Wise. For some reason, people who claim to have had alien encounters said the extraterrestrials shared their knowledge with them. In some cases, the abductee showed the injuries he got during an alien experiment, discussed their spacecraft, the purpose of the visit to Earth, etc. But the story of Russ Kellett is earth-shattering. He says he's a super soldier fighting in an intergalactic war and has been abducted at least 60 times. Russell Kellett, a 58-year-old man from Yorkshire, has been a UFO investigator for the past 20 years. He has appeared in a number of television documentaries, as well as numerous television talk shows. He's been investigating the famous Brilliant Mountains UFO incident for almost 30 years. He also has striven to maintain a rigorous standard of scientific detachment to the investigation of UFOs and related phenomena, and calls on the services of several experts in a number of different fields. Kellett, who owned an industrial clothing business in the Carlisle Business Centre in Mannington, left his job and adopted UFO research as his full-time job because of the number of strange sightings he has had. Kellett says he had alien encounters. The most sensational claim made by Kellett is that he has been fighting in an intergalactic war for 15-foot aliens since he was 28 years old, and next he says that he's been abducted no less than 60 times. I wonder, though, why they chose him to fight 15-foot aliens. Metro writes, the first time I was Kellett says, 16, when I was traveling home on my motorbike. I went through a tunnel that I had never seen before, and the next thing I knew, I was in what looked like a dentist surgery with 15-foot alien men that looked very much like Dracula without the sharp teeth, surrounding me. I had some sort of tube pushed down my throat, and whatever liquid they pumped into me, it turned me into one of their super soldiers, he claims. According to Mr. Kellett, he's been part of the alien army that has been fighting a race called the Dragos, which are tall and scaly that have heads like dragons. He describes his abduction place as a room covered with checks like a chessboard. Additionally, he has fought in otherworldly beings battles across the UK, Europe, and South America. He and his alien comrades supposedly use a glass ball located in the middle of the room, which can transport them through space and time. He believes because of space wars, his body has generated chronic fatigue syndrome and post-traumatic stress disorder. He said, I've been gone for years and people don't realize, as 4 hours here is 4 years in one of the planets I've been to. Obviously, he does not remember fighting, as his memory is always erased by the aliens. He further says that he struggled to remember the names of different ET races, but he drew his sketches to show how they looked like to him, and even though he hardly remembers anything, Mr. Kellett remembers being rushed to the hospital with a brain tumor. But there was nothing wrong with me, he said. I just remember leaving the hospital and forgetting certain things, like the names of the races and where it was that I've traveled to. Kellett said he had been working on the case for many years and had been granted access to various official logs. Kellett and his UFO investigation. He's been the leading UFO researcher for the famous Brilliant Mountains UFO incident for almost 30 years. This 1974 incident has been dubbed the Welsh Roswell or Roswelsh. On Dave Schrader's radio show, Mr. Kellett and his fellow UK UFO journalist Stephen Lumley discussed the amazing 1974 encounter between UFOs and the Royal Navy. An ambush by RAF fighter jets and dozens of Army personnel helped to conceal the evidence of a downed UFO and what happened to the otherworldly visitors from the recovery. And while the incident is famously linked to the Brilliant Mountains in Wales, Lumley recounted how the case actually began in the Irish Sea with a flotilla of Royal Navy ships working their way down from Scotland, seemingly in pursuit of something below the surface of the water. Along the way, he said, the ships were dropping photo flash bombs in order to illuminate whatever they were chasing. Keller explained British aircraft were also flying overhead and instructing the ships were to drop additional flash bombs. What they were doing was backing the submerged objects into a corner and surrounding them, he surmised, noting that the only escape for UFOs would then be out of the sea. As such, 3 UFOs suddenly burst out of the water in an attempt to escape the scene. According to Kellett, of the 3 UFOs, one is believed to have hidden in a lake and another crashed into the Berwyn Mountains, possibly due to the encounter with a Royal Air Force fighter jet. Numerous residents in the area, Lumley revealed, called the police and unequivocally reported a massive explosion as well as a UFO in the mountains. The 3rd UFO, Kellett said, was spotted by 5 men who saw it landing by the side of the road in a nearby town. From this craft, they claimed 5 entities emerged, including 2 that appeared to be in some kind of distress. As the witnesses were watching this unfold, they were swarmed by heavy armed British military forces who ordered them out of the area immediately. Before leaving the scene, they saw the ETs being ushered into a vehicle to be taken into an unknown destination, as well as one soldier getting inside the UFO. And from there, Kellett marveled, other soldiers maneuvered the floating craft into a flatbed truck. In light of the ease and precision with which they accomplished this task, he theorized that it was not their first time recovering a downed flying saucer. And this is on Collective Spark by Vicky Vermes House and Wise. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.